HPD just announced that vacant affordable apartments are now going to be filled on a first come, first served basis. Okay, so what does that mean? All my voucher holders, you guys been saying, oh, Housing Connect, oh, I can't get. Well, guess what? You no longer have to go through Housing Connect to apply to those affordable apartments. This is only a limited time from May 1st right now. So if you're watching this video right now till April 2026, you have the opportunity to type that button fast and click that link.
Y'all tried to go look into Section 8 out here in California. That woman told me that it may not be back open to 2027. And then the other housing program, you got a 5 to 10 year wait. Okay.
And look, I once used to live here with a Section 8 voucher. And that's just some of it, okay? They have a resort-style pool as well as a gazebo, a tennis court, and a kids' playground with a lot of trails and basketball courts. And yes, I had Section 8. Now, I don't have it now, and I kind of wish I still did, but I don't want nobody telling me how much money I can make. But the reason why I'm doing this video is to encourage and inspire someone. Just because you got a Section 8 voucher does not mean you have to live in the slums, in the hood. Okay, you can take your voucher and live in a neighborhood just like this with your kids. I had 6 kids at the time, guys. Come with me.
You literally could go get a job and actually afford unsubsidized rent, not being subsidized by the taxpayer. You could go do that. You are literally choosing not to because you want to build your business. Why the are you allowed to leech off the taxpayer?
I'm not leeching off of anybody.
Yes,
and I
you are.
have tried.
Tried what?
My last job, I had a really bad situation.
Tell.
Where I was interviewing men in particular, and every time I got on the screen with them, they got their little willies out and started whacking him.
I'm not gonna have you translate that one. What's our plan? Putting 30 hours a week into education that we can't define or explain?
There is a plan.
Okay. Now it sounds like a presidential debate.
I'm trying.
What's your try?
I have plans on finding a job.
Well, if Trump have his way, the Section 8 abuse is about to stop next year. Donald Trump is proposing a plan to cut the federal HUD 2026 budget by over 40%. Over $26 billion will be eliminated from housing voucher assistance. The plan would transfer the creation and administration of housing programs to the states. It would also put restrictions on able-bodied adults, limiting housing assistance to only 2 years for people who fall in that category. So no more of your mama living on HUD for 40 years, then transferring her HUD status to all her daughters, who then repeat the cycle living on HUD for another 30 years. Nah, if Trump had his way, that will cap assistance down to 2 years. Now, here's the thing. Trump's proposal is his proposal and won't be the final decision. It's going to be up to Congress to go along with Trump's plan for it to be implemented. But the plan will jeopardize housing for millions, mostly in single-family households led by women. The elderly, disabled, and veterans will have protection, but if you have 2 legs and 2 hands and you're working age, you might be forced to put them to work. And you already know the internet is having a complete meltdown.
Because I'm in between jobs like crazy. I've been paying market rent all my life before anybody say, yeah, she just saying that because she on public housing assistance and she just doing that because she trying to milk the system for life. No, my goal was not to milk the system for life, but it did help me temporary because I will be moving. Let me put this on here. I will be moving back out and back into market rent apartments, okay? But there are some people, everybody ain't just passing through like me. There are some people that cannot afford, like me, to move off of Section 8, okay? I know people that got 5+ kids. They cannot afford that. And whatever choices that they made that was poorly, that is on them. Nobody is walking this earth is perfect, man. It is some rude, ignorant ass people on here that's talking about, oh, I hope it get cut off. Really?
Take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. Won't waste any time, let's jump into it.
Trump seeks to cut $26 billion by ending Section 8, replacing it with state-run housing and programs. So instead of having Section 8 vouchers, they're replacing them with block grants to the state because the White House described the current system as dysfunctional and said the state should be allowed to design their own rental assistance programs based on their unique needs and preferences. Now, this is where it got real interesting for me. It said the plan will also cap rental aid for able-bodied adults at 2 years, reallocating any remaining funds towards elderly and disabled recipients.
In this budget, it empowers states. Listen. I'm going to read it slowly. The budget empowers, gives powers to the states by transforming the current federal dysfunctional rental assistance program into a state-based formula grant, which would allow states to design their own rental assistance programs based on their unique needs and preferences.
The Trump administration is trying to kill Section 8. Section 8 and government subsidized housing is now in the crosshairs of the Trump administration. They are looking to cut it by at least 40% to help save money. There's about 2.3 million people that get government subsidized housing through Section 8 across the country, and the Trump administration is looking to take it from a national level to a state level. The goal is to take it from a national overinflated, overbloated, overfunded program to a state level program where the national government will kick in a little bit, the states will have to kick in as well, and they will actually have to have a budget. There's also a discussion about a cap on able-bodied adults only getting it for so long. This is one of those things where the headlines sound scarier than the actual sublines. However, this will affect real estate. And this is why I've been telling y'all that Section 8 isn't guaranteed.
Hey, what do y'all think about Trump cutting back on Section 8? Basically, from his latest press conference, he wants to distribute and allocate all those funds to the state level. That way the state can devise certain programs to allocate the funds to their citizens, because each state has different things going on. And, you know, they want to reduce the wait time and all of the hassle that it takes for them to do it on a federal level and just put it on a state level. That way that everybody can get the services they need in a more efficient time. My thing is also, we have to figure out a way to cut back on people needing these services and reduce this homelessness epidemic that we are experiencing by making housing more affordable for everybody across the board. That way it's not a tax burden for other citizens that's having problems with their own survival. You know, it shouldn't have to be a matter of other people having to get food taken off their plate to make sure somebody else eat. Now, I get we all have hard times. Lord knows I've had my hard times and struggles. But at the end of the day, these services shouldn't be a life sentence. It should be used as a way for people to get on their feet and be able to be self-sufficient long term.
Okay, I know y'all remember me telling y'all that he had a black cabinet pick. Y'all remember? Mr. Eric Scott Turner. HUD. They always pick a black one to be over HUD, right? HUD. Go figure. They'll pick a Igor. Okay. Anyways. They're coming for your housing.
I don't know, man. They literally find the dumbest stuff to be fake bothered by. Who cares what's the race of the HUD secretary? Yeah, he's a black man, but honestly, I don't care what color he is. The main people crying about DEI also complain when black men get jobs, which shows you who they really think DEI is for. Hint, not the straight black men. But I digress.
We should have known this. I knew it. A lot of us knew it because they said that they were. So it's no surprise to a lot. But prepare. I keep saying be prepared, don't be scared, be prepared.
Okay, so did y'all hear that Trump is planning on slashing housing programs and cutting funding for housing programs to end, just cutting Section 8 altogether? Okay, so I'm going to give you the rundown. I have it in my notes because it's a lot, okay? So it says Trump's 2026 budget plan would cut section housing by 43%, affecting 2.3 million households. He's giving control to the states through block grants, which I don't understand how that will work. Yeah, okay, so he's giving control to the states. And then also lastly, it says So you know how when you get on Section 8, you can be on there for however long? Well, he is capping that at 2 years for able-bodied people. What that means is if you are able to work, right, there's nothing wrong with you physically to where like you don't have any issues at all, you can only be on Section 8 for 2 years. After your 2 years, you have to do what everybody else does.
i.e., get off your behind and go to work.
Supposedly, I don't know if this is true, I don't know if this is factual, but Section 8 will be cut come 2025 or later 2025. This is what I've seen on, I think it was on Facebook, and I didn't even go and fact check.
Of course, you're too lazy to even open up another app on your phone to go read the information from the source yourself to verify if the caption you just read on Section 8 Hair Glue Twitter is actually true.
But I want to address the comment that I seen, and it was like, this is good because people be on Section 8 and they abuse it. And it's like, how is this good? Whether a group of people are abusing a resource, if you take the whole resource away, for the people that's not abusing it, we don't have it. And I feel like that was always a problem with, Trump voters or people who didn't side with Kamala Harris because they thought that they were just giving out, awards. Everybody was getting participation awards. No, they were giving out, resources for people who needed it. And it's because you fell through the loop of, freeloaders and stuff like that. That's just what happens when you have a public service.
Man, shut this baby bot bimbo babble up. She said people who need it as in herself. But look at the nails on this woman. Do y'all know how much a full set like that costs today? Look at these tattoos. Look at the wig. These wigs not cheap. She's so privileged to be able to spend hundreds of dollars on somebody else's hair and fake nails, but complaining about potentially losing her access to free rent. You can't make this stuff up.
But when you take it away, now people are scrounging. And when people get in survival, when people do things that they would not normally do. So it puts you at a danger. So even if you're not a part of the Section 8 community, you get around somebody who need to feed their family and watch what they do. And watch how they act and watch how people move. And I think that's what, Trump is kind of bargaining at. He's getting at, stir crazy. People become fearful for their lives. It's survival of the fittest. So certain, government assistance that's now being taken away is not an act of service. It's not, now everybody's going to get up on their own 2 feet. No. People don't have it like that. It's not like everyone is not dealt the same card, so you're not going to be like putting everybody at the same starting line and then whatever. No, this is going to be crazy. I don't know if it's true that they're taking away Section 8, but that wasn't a really good comment. It was very ignorant because, like, what?
So apparently Trump is proposing a bill that will cut Section 8 funding. You don't have to be someone that utilizes Section 8 to see the damage that this man is trying to cause. Why is it when money needs to be cut, they want to try to take from low-income families, but not make their rich friends pay their taxes? If the people who were well off would just pay their taxes, no money would need to be cut.
Translation, if rich people pay more taxes, then the rich and middle class can continue to fund everybody below the poverty line, even the ones sitting up on TikTok with lace wigs, bundles, long claw nails, and eyelashes, calling everybody else broke. Yeah, I get it.
And people seem to think that, ghetto people are just the ones with Section 8. No, it is made for low-income families, people with disabilities, veterans, people that just need help paying their rent.
And for the record, the cuts are not for vets and the disabled. It's for able-bodied people that can physically provide for themselves, but choose not to.
It just seemed like to me that they like to attack groups that are the most vulnerable instead of getting more money from the groups that are more stable. That's just crazy to me. And at some point you got to think, these people are really evil. You're cutting funding from people who already can't afford their housing. How evil do you sound? Section 8 has paved the way for many people to be able to have roof and housing over their heads. So to make that a primary focus for cutting, it's just weird to me. Diabolical, if you will.
Section 8, baby, let's talk about it. Section 8 is a blessing. It was created to help people who are struggling, not as a trap, but as a trampoline. It's supposed to give folks room to breathe while they rebuild. Mentally, financially, emotionally, spiritually. Let's be real, not everybody uses this like that. Instead of elevating, some people are doing everything that they can to stay stuck. And it's not because they can't grow. It's because they've grown comfortable and struggle. The first thing is, if I make too much money, they'll raise my rent. So instead of leveling up their income, people start turning down hours, quitting jobs, choosing under the table work. They can keep their rent low. They fear abundance because they believe to condition that more success equals less support. What they don't realize is they're capping their own potential just to stay small. A lot of people feel like, why leave if I'm comfortable? Some folks get used to paying $0 to $20 of rent, so they just stop striving. They stop planning to own a home, improving their credit, or breaking generational curses. They just sit. Meanwhile, people with the real needs, single mom with disabled kids, the elderly, folks on disability, are sitting on the waiting list for years. They attach their identity to struggle. Struggle becomes familiar. Growth feels uncomfortable. So they stay where it's safe. They don't have to change, risk, or expand. It's not always laziness. Sometimes it's trauma and fear. But the result is the same. They block their own elevation. Some people like to game the system. Lying about who lives in the home, not reporting full income, having partners who live rent-free but aren't on the lease. Then they'll get mad at the system and they're the ones manipulating it. This isn't survival anymore, baby. That's entitlement. But here's who hurts in the process. Disabled parent who's trying to get safe housing for their child in a wheelchair. Young G woman fresh out of a DV relationship who's working 2 jobs and still can't afford rent or a place to stay. Grandmother who's raising her grandkids with no support and no place to stay. They're not asking for handouts. They're asking for a chance. The chance is taken by people who don't want to grow because their rent will change. Section 8 is not the problem. The mindset is. Let's be clear. Crystal clear. This is not about race either. White people are on Section 8, Hispanic folks, Asians, Black people. Okay, so it's nothing about race. This isn't a race issue. It's a personal responsibility issue. We need to stop letting shame, comfort, or fear keeping us from stepping up or stepping off when the time is right. Nobody is saying get off tomorrow. Nobody is saying that you don't deserve help. I'm not saying that. If you're sitting on Section 8 year after year, not working, not growing, not healing, not planning for better, then you're blocking someone else's breakthrough.
Do I think there should be a 2-year limit for able-bodied adults? Yes, absolutely. There's no reason why you should be able to live off Section 8 for 40 years and sit on your behind every day expecting for everybody else to pay your bills. You know what this is going to do? Ultimately, I believe this will shift welfare culture, which is prevalent among all races. Also, women will be less likely to run around getting pregnant in order to get subsidized housing, and they'll be more encouraged to create a family with an actual man, a husband, and they make life work together instead of depending on daddy government. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Tell me what you think about this below. I want to thank everybody who supported this channel. You can show your support as well. The link to PayPal is below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like and share.